You know, there's a quiet shift that happens in the body as we age. It's not loud or dramatic. It doesn't send out warning bells. But one day, you wake up and things just feel different. You don't bounce back from a bad meal the way you used to. You feel more tired after sugar. You sleep lighter. Your joints speak up. Your digestion seems pickier. Sound familiar? If you've ever looked at your plate and thought, I used to eat this all the time. Why does it make me feel so off now? You're not alone. I want to take you on a little journey today. One that's not about dieting, calorie counting, or guilt. It's about listening. Understanding how your body's needs evolve after 60. And more importantly, how you can gently, lovingly nourish it in return. I'll walk you through what's really happening under the surface, biologically and emotionally. I'll share real stories from people who had to make changes when the old ways no longer worked. And I'll give you small, doable ways to adjust what you eat without losing the joy of food. Because healthy eating in your later years shouldn't feel like punishment. It should feel like freedom. Let's start with something surprising. Your body isn't falling apart. It's just asking for something new. First, let's clear this up. What's happening to your body isn't failure. It's not weakness. It's biology. After 60, the metabolism naturally slows down. Muscle mass begins to decline unless we actively work to maintain it. Our stomach acid weakens, making it harder to absorb certain nutrients, especially B12, calcium, and iron. And hormones? They shift too, affecting appetite, mood, even how we store fat. That's not something to fear, but it does mean that the foods that used to work for you might not be your best friends anymore. I once met a woman named Joan. She was 67, full of life, loved her morning toast with jam and coffee. It had been her routine for decades. But over time, she started noticing heartburn, energy crashes before noon, poor sleep. She thought it was just aging. But when she swapped that sugary breakfast for something richer in protein, like scrambled eggs with spinach and avocado, everything changed. Her digestion settled. Her focus returned. Her afternoon naps weren't as necessary anymore. Joan didn't diet. She just listened, adjusted, and it made all the difference. Let's talk about the hidden hunger. Now, here's something else people don't talk about enough. When you live alone, especially in your 60s, 70s, and beyond, meals can become quiet, maybe even lonely. You might find yourself skipping meals or grazing through the day, or eating more processed foods because they're convenient. But food isn't just fuel. It's memory. It's comfort. It's connection. And when we don't eat well, it's not just our bodies that feel it. It's our mood, too. There's real science behind that. Nutrient-poor diets, heavy in sugar, low in fiber and healthy fats, are strongly linked to higher rates of depression and anxiety in older adults. Your gut and brain are deeply connected. What you feed one, you feed the other. Let me tell you about Greg. He's 73, widowed, lives in a small town in Oregon. After his wife passed, Greg lost interest in cooking. He started eating mostly microwave dinners and white bread sandwiches. He said it was just easier. But over time, Greg noticed more than just weight gain. He felt flat, numb, foggy. His doctor ran tests. Nothing major showed up. But a nutritionist suggested he try adding color back into his meals. Real vegetables, omega-3s from fish, whole grains, just a little at a time. 3 months later, Greg didn't just feel better. He felt present again. He started going on short walks. He rejoined his church choir. All because he started feeding his brain what it needed. So if you've been feeling low and can't quite explain why, don't overlook your plate. Why protein matters more than ever. Here's another truth that surprises many people. You actually need more protein as you age, not less. Sounds backwards, right? But as we get older, we naturally lose muscle mass. This can make us weaker, more prone to falls, and slower to heal. Protein helps rebuild muscle, and it also plays a big role in immune function and recovery. And no, you don't need to eat steak every day. There are gentle, easy ways to boost protein. Think about Greek yogurt with chia seeds, lentil soup, a piece of grilled salmon, or even a smoothie with almond butter and a scoop of plant-based protein. Let me share the story of Carla. She's 75 and lives alone in Florida. After a minor surgery, her recovery was dragging on. Her daughter, a nurse, asked her, "Mom, are you eating enough protein?" Carla shrugged. "I think so. I have toast in the morning and soup at night." Turns out, she was barely getting 40 grams a day, when women her age need closer to 60 or more. They work together to add a protein source at every meal, even if it was just a boiled egg or a spoonful of cottage cheese. Within weeks, her strength came back. Her wounds healed faster. Her energy lifted. It wasn't magic. It was protein. Beware the invisible foods, sugar, salt, and sneaky additives. Now let's talk about what you can't always see. Food labels these days can be tricky. Words like low-fat or sugar-free may sound healthy, but often they're packed with additives, artificial sweeteners, or hidden sodium. Older adults, especially those with blood pressure or kidney concerns, need to be extra cautious here. Take Sam, an 80-year-old retired teacher. He thought he was doing great, buying low-calorie frozen meals. But his doctor noticed his blood pressure creeping up. When a dietitian reviewed his meals, they found he was consuming nearly twice the daily recommended sodium, all from healthy-looking packaged food. The fix? Sam started batch cooking simple stews at home, freezing portions. Less salt, more flavor, and no blood pressure spikes. A good rule of thumb: the fewer ingredients, the better. If you can pronounce everything on the label, you're on the right track. The secret ingredient: eating with intention. And finally, this might be the most important shift of all, is how you experience your meals. In midlife and beyond, eating can become just another task. Breakfast to take your meds, lunch on the go, dinner in front of the TV. But your body and your spirit crave more than just food. They crave presence. When was the last time you really sat down with a plate, took a breath, and enjoyed the textures, the colors, the smell of your meal? You don't need candles or a fancy table. Just time, space, maybe even a quiet word of thanks. That small shift, eating with intention, can transform even a simple bowl of soup into nourishment for your soul. All right, take a deep breath. We've walked through what changes in the body after 60, why your emotional connection to food matters, how protein becomes your quiet protector, and the hidden dangers of processed foods. But we're just getting started. In the next part of this video, I'll show you practical steps to create your own nourishing daily routine. Even if you live alone, have a tight budget, or don't love cooking, you'll learn how to shop smarter, eat for brain health, and bring more joy back to your plate. It's not about being perfect. It's about being kind to yourself. So if any of this resonated with you, if you saw a little bit of yourself in Joan, Greg, Carla, or Sam, stay with me. And while you're here, feel free to leave a comment below. Maybe share what foods make you feel your best these days, or what you've noticed has changed over time. And if this video has been helpful, don't forget to like, share it with someone who might need it, and subscribe for more stories and tips made just for you. So let's pick up where we left off. You've learned how your body's needs shift after 60, why protein matters more than ever, how emotions and memory are tied to food, and how processed meals can quietly wear you down. Now let's talk about how to take that knowledge and turn it into a daily rhythm that actually works for your life. Because here's the truth: knowing what's good for you is one thing, but making it a habit, especially when you live alone or feel overwhelmed, is something else entirely. But it's not impossible. It's not even that hard. It just takes a few gentle adjustments. Let's start in the place most of us either love or avoid: the grocery store. The next time you're shopping, try this. Instead of focusing on what you shouldn't buy, like no sugar, no carbs, no fun, look for what you can add. Colorful vegetables, berries, frozen greens if fresh ones are too expensive, a small bag of walnuts, canned beans, a couple of eggs, maybe a block of cheese you actually enjoy. You don't need a cart full of kale to be healthy, just a few real ingredients that your body recognizes. I remember talking to Evelyn, 71, who said grocery shopping used to make her anxious. Too many choices, too many labels, and way too many years of dieting rules floating in her head. So we tried something simple. She made a short list of 6 things: something green, something red, something with protein, something with fiber, something that brings her joy, and water. That was it. It turned her grocery trip from a chore into a kind of treasure hunt. And over time, her pantry looked more like a garden than a box factory. Once you've got those ingredients home, the next challenge is making meals when you don't feel like cooking for one. That feeling is more common than people think. When no one else is at the table, it can feel like, what's the point? But there is a point. You are the point. You deserve nourishment. You deserve to enjoy your food, even if it's just you, in your own quiet kitchen. I once met a man named Leo, 76, a retired bus driver. Lived alone after his partner passed. He told me, "I just don't cook much anymore. I used to love it. But now, I just open a can of soup and call it a day." We talked a bit, and what we realized together was, it wasn't the food he missed. It was the experience of sharing it. The warmth. The ritual. So Leo started small. He lit a candle at dinner. He put on the old jazz station. And once a week, he tried cooking one real meal, nothing fancy. Sometimes it was roast chicken. Other times, just roasted sweet potatoes and some pan-fried tofu with garlic. And you know what? It changed everything. He said those dinners became his favorite part of the week. He even started inviting his neighbor over now and then. Because eating well isn't just about nutrients. It's about dignity, joy, and choosing to treat yourself with the same care you once gave to others. Now, if cooking really isn't your thing, that's okay too. There are still ways to make eating easier and better for your body. Try prepping just a couple of things at once and mix and match them. For example, cook a batch of brown rice. Steam some broccoli. Bake a few chicken thighs or chickpeas. Store them in containers and build simple plates throughout the week. It's like giving your future self a little hug every time you open the fridge. And don't forget, frozen vegetables are just as nutritious as fresh, sometimes even more, since they're packed at peak ripeness. Keep bags of peas, spinach, or mixed veggies on hand. You can throw them into soups, omelets, stir-fries. They're your quiet allies. Speaking of stir-fries, those are a perfect go-to meal. Quick, simple, and adaptable. Start with olive oil, toss in garlic and onions, add whatever veggies you've got, then protein, then flavor. Maybe a splash of low-sodium soy sauce or lemon juice. Done in 15 minutes, and full of color and life. One woman I know, Maria, who's 68 and on a fixed income, told me she makes Monday bowls every week. Just one big mix of grains, beans, veggies, and herbs. She keeps it in the fridge and eats it cold or warm, with different dressings or toppings. It saves her time and money, and she says it helps her feel grounded, like she's doing something kind for herself. There's something powerful about that. About treating your meals not as tasks, but as small daily acts of self-respect. And while we're at it, hydration. This part gets overlooked too often, but as we age, the body's sense of thirst weakens. So you might not feel thirsty, even when you're slightly dehydrated. Try keeping a glass of water or herbal tea nearby, especially between meals. Add slices of cucumber, lemon, or mint if plain water feels boring. Dehydration can sneak in quietly, causing fatigue, confusion, even dizziness. It's a small habit with a big impact. Now, let's go back to something deeper. A lot of older adults have a complicated relationship with food. Maybe you've been told for decades to diet, to cut this, avoid that. Maybe you've watched your weight go up and down and felt shame attached to every bite. But I want to say something clearly. Food is not the enemy. Food is your ally. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be kind. If you eat something less nutritious one day, that doesn't undo all your efforts. What matters is the rhythm, the overall direction. Think of it like tending a garden. You don't scold the plants for a rough week of weather. You just keep watering, keep watching, and trust the process. When you shift your mindset from restriction to nourishment, everything softens. The stress, the guilt, the pressure. And suddenly, healthy eating becomes less about rules and more about care. Care for your energy, your bones, your mind, your memory, your independence. Because the truth is, what you eat can affect how long you stay on your feet, how clear your thoughts are, how steady your hands. That's not fear talking, that's power talking. You have the ability, today, to choose foods that support the life you want tomorrow. Even if it starts with just one better breakfast, one thoughtful grocery trip, one calm dinner with music playing in the background. These little shifts build momentum, and that momentum builds confidence. Confidence that your body is still worthy of care. Confidence that your story isn't over just because your appetite changed. Confidence that you can write this next chapter, full of flavor, freedom, and strength. Before we wrap up, I want to invite you to reflect for a moment. What's one small change you could make this week to support your health? Maybe it's replacing white bread with whole grain. Maybe it's adding a handful of spinach to your scrambled eggs. Maybe it's calling a friend to have lunch together, even over the phone. Whatever it is, choose it with love, not with pressure, not with shame, with love. And if this video helped you, even a little, I'd be so glad to know. Feel free to share your thoughts or your own food story in the comments. I truly believe the more we talk about these things, the more we remind each other we're not alone. We're all learning, adjusting, trying, and that's more than enough. If you'd like more content like this, gentle guidance, practical tips, and stories that speak to real life after 60, go ahead and like the video, share it with someone who might need to hear it, and subscribe to stay connected. You deserve to feel well, to feel strong, to feel alive in your body at every age. Thanks for being here. Take care of yourself. You matter.